Hello everybody and welcome back to the Swiss Simpleton channel. In this video I'm going to take you along through an entire week of cooking dinners. I've noticed that some of you really enjoyed the cooking parts in my vlogs, so I decided to do an entire video only cooking. I'm gonna show you the recipes that I'm gonna cook. These are very typical midweek meals for us at home. They're quite simple usually, but super tasty. And I think everybody can do them. They're not that complicated. So it is Monday today. It is very moody, and today I'm gonna cook a lentil curry with some cauliflower and a nice salad on the side. So everything's already ready in the kitchen. So let's get started right away. The first dish of this video is a creamy lentil dal with roasted cauliflower. It contains so many amazing healthy ingredients and beautiful fragrant spices, which is why it has become an absolute staple in our midweek cooking. Start by boiling some brown lentils and cooking some basmati rice before chopping a head of cauliflower into bite-sized pieces, covering them on a tray with some oil, salt and pepper before roasting in the oven until they get some nice color but still remain a bite. Make sure not to overcook the cauliflower. After that, fry off a finely diced onion and some grated garlic in a pan. After a couple of minutes, I added in the spices and let them toast for only a couple of seconds to intensify their aroma. Make sure not to toast them too long as they might burn quickly. Stir in a tablespoon of tomato paste and let that cook for a couple of minutes. After that, I added in a tin of organic coconut cream along with some salt and let that bubble for a couple of minutes. The spices in the coconut cream already smell amazing at this point. For some freshness, I then added a couple of cherry tomatoes, which cut through the richness of the dal with their sweetness and freshness. And here my camera went out of focus, so sorry for that. Now the recipe is almost finished and just needs to be put together. Add your roasted cauliflower, the cooked brown lentils and some fresh spinach. Let that combine for a couple of minutes before serving with your cooked basmati rice. I added a small cucumber salad with avocado and homemade pickled radishes as a side dish, but this is completely optional, of course. One thing I love about summer is the availability of amazing fresh tomatoes. This next dish focuses around great seasonal vegetables and combines everything in a delicious summer pasta. I cooked this dish in less than 30 minutes. I absolutely love the simplicity and balance of flavor while it really feels like a great summer meal. Start by putting on a pot of water to boil your pasta. By the time your pasta is boiled, the dish will pretty much already be ready. Once the water is boiling, add some salt and your pasta of choice. Pretty much any pasta works with this dish. Finely dice an onion and a generous portion of garlic before frying both in some good olive oil. While they both are frying, chop up some zucchini or other summer vegetable of your choice. This dish can be customized very easily to fit your preferences. Fry the vegetables with your onions and start by having some beautifully ripe cherry tomatoes. Add them to your pan and season everything with some salt and pepper. I then added in some white wine to form a delicious sauce. We don't really drink wine, but use it in our cooking occasionally. The alcohol from the wine will cook off, so it is only in there for flavor. Once the pasta is cooked, save some of the cooking water. Add your pasta to the slightly reduced sauce and add in the pasta water to emulsify and stir. Adding the pasta water might seem strange if you've never tried this before. I was also a long time skeptic until I tried it, and now I'm completely convinced of it. To add some color, freshness and great aroma, I then added in some rocket and stirred that through before serving on a plate. Top it off with some nice olive oil and additional rocket, and you can enjoy this super simple summer pasta. The next day, our 92-year-old neighbor gave us a couple of leeks that he harvested from his garden. Such a nice gesture, and I decided to use them in the next meal and cook a hearty leek and potato soup. Start by cutting off the tops of the leeks and removing the outer layer before giving everything a very good wash, as leeks are usually very dirty. Roughly chop up the leeks and put them in a bowl with water to give them an additional wash. Drain the leeks and start frying them off in some olive oil. While the leeks are softening in the pot, peel and cut some soft boiling potatoes into chunks. Crush in some garlic and let that fry off before adding in your potatoes into the pot. Cover everything with vegetable stock and let it boil until the potatoes have turned soft. This is probably the easiest recipe here. It takes very little active cooking time and it is very beginner friendly concerning the knife skills. After this, you can mix everything with a stick blender if you have one. Mine broke down a couple of months ago, so I just used a regular blender. Blend it as smoothly as you like, and then you can add additional seasoning if you think it needs it. I picked some parsley from the garden and then started plating up the soup in some bowls with a side of spelt bread and topped my portion off with some hot sauce for a nice kick. Soups are a super great midweek meal. They are so easy to prepare and you can pretty much add any ingredient that you like and you always have great portions for leftovers.
It is Thursday today. I want something quick and super easy, so I'm gonna do some pesto, plant-based, with some whole grain spelt spaghetti. I also have some tomatoes and mushrooms that I'm gonna fry off and put on top. I have already prepped everything here, so I'm gonna get started by toasting the cashew and walnuts.
Pesto is such a great simple thing to prepare midweek and an absolute staple in our kitchen. It is super easy to vary with different herbs and nuts, and for this recipe I used parsley and basil as herbs and some cashews and walnuts as a more affordable alternative to the traditional pine nuts. This was my first time using walnuts in a pesto, and honestly it was quite amazing. After toasting the cashews and walnuts, I juiced a lemon and then got on to putting together this plant-based pesto. In the food processor, I added my herbs, toasted cashews and walnuts, lemon juice, olive oil, a small piece of garlic, salt, pepper, and some nutritional yeast. I blended everything until it reached my desired consistency. I set aside the pesto and went ahead by chopping up some mushrooms and cherry tomatoes. I think mushrooms go so well together with pesto, especially a more rustic pesto like this one. I fried the mushrooms in some olive oil and then cooked the spelt pasta. When the pasta was ready, I again saved some pasta water and put the drained spaghetti in the pan with the mushrooms. I stirred in a generous portion of pesto and loosened everything with some pasta water. At this point, this super simple but very tasty pasta dish is already done. Again, a meal that can easily be prepared in less than 30 minutes. I topped the pasta off with some fresh tomatoes and some additional olive oil and enjoyed a great bowl of spaghetti. The last dish of the week is a sweet and spicy stir fry, something that I cook probably once a week in some variation, not traditional at all, but super tasty. I started by cooking some washed jasmine rice. Then I took tofu and pressed it dry so it becomes super crispy when prepared the right way. I broke up the tofu blocks into small chunks before mixing the tofu chunks in some cornstarch and salt. Place the tofu on an oven tray and pour over some melted coconut oil. Add the tray to a hot oven and let it crisp up, turning the chunks after 10 minutes or so. After that, I sliced up some veggies including onion, garlic, zucchini, bell pepper, and aubergine. Honestly, I just used up whatever I had left in the fridge, so feel free to experiment here. I like to include a lot of different veggies in the stir fries, and I love the variety. I fried everything in some coconut oil and let it cook. And yes, I absolutely put this shot in the video only to show off. For a super simple sauce, I combined soy sauce, rice vinegar, agave, and a spicy chili paste. I mixed everything, and then on the side, I added some cornstarch to water. This will later make the sauce super glossy and make it feel like in a restaurant. I added the sauce and the starch mix to the pan with the veggies and let everything reduce slightly before adding in the super crispy tofu. I let the tofu soak up some of that delicious sauce, and then it was already ready to serve with the now cooked rice. I added some sesame and chili flakes as garnish to make it look a little bit more pretty. And there you go, a super simple, nutrient-packed stir fry that can be done very easily midweek. There's nothing better than a great home-cooked meal. I think that cooking, learning to cook, is something that has really had a great impact on my life, and I truly love cooking. I think the quality of the end result is usually so much better. I know what is in my food, and I also save a lot of money, as with a good budget and great planning I can save a lot of money compared to if I would go out and buy my food already pre-made by somebody else. If you want to know how I plan my week, I usually do a meal plan for an entire week. I will link you the video somewhere here on the screen. By doing a good meal plan, I first of all can work with a good budget. I rarely overspend that. It is great to save some money, as I like to do, and it is also good to have a little bit of variety in your diet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was quite a different video. If you enjoyed it, let me know. I would gladly do this kind of video again. I really love to cook, so let me know how you like the recipes, if you tried something, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much, take care, and bye-bye.